Court for the City of Stoughton is now in session. The Honorable Scott Dirks presiding.
Please be seated. Thanks. Excuse me. Good evening. My name is Scott Dirks, and I am the municipal judge for the City of Stoughton and the towns of Dunkirk, Pleasant Springs, and Rutland. The City of Stoughton will be appearing in all matters this evening by Attorney Isaac Brodke. Before I begin calling cases, I wanted to go over some of the procedures we'll follow tonight and some of your rights as defendants. Those procedures are also set forth on the form that was made available to you as you came into the courtroom. First, please turn off your cell phones. Second, this hearing is for initial appearances on the citations you received. This is not the time for a trial or telling me your side of what happened. When your case is called, please come up to the podium up here and remember to speak clearly. These proceedings are being recorded, so you need to answer questions verbally, not by simply nodding or shaking your head. Tonight, I will ask you to enter a plea to the citation you were issued. Your plea options are not guilty, no contest, or guilty. A plea of guilty means you admit you did whatever it is you're charged with. A plea of no contest means that while you do not admit doing anything unlawful, you do not wish to contest the matter. In many cases, Mr. Brodke will be in a position to make you an offer to resolve your case right here tonight. If you do arrive at such an agreement, you should enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Either way, guilty or no contest, I will find you guilty. I will then review the facts of your case to determine whether there is a basis for accepting your plea, and then will give you an opportunity, if you wish, to tell me anything you feel is relevant to my decision, and I will then impose a forfeiture. A forfeiture is a money penalty that can be anywhere from $20,000 to $10,000, though the vast majority will be in the range of $50 to $200. I'm also required to impose court costs, which will increase the total amount you must pay. I will automatically give you 30 days to pay your forfeiture. If you think you'll need more time than that, please let me know right away, and we will set up a payment plan. Failure to timely pay your forfeiture can result in suspension of your driver's license or referring the matter for debt collection. If you plead not guilty, I'll schedule your case for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. At that time, you can discuss your case with him and see if your case can be resolved without a trial. If it cannot be resolved, I'll schedule the matter for trial. You do have the right to have an attorney represent you in your case, but you must hire that attorney on your own. The state public defender will not represent you. You also have the right to ask me for a continuance of your case if you need to consult with an attorney or for any other reason. If you do have a trial, it will be heard by me, and you'll have the right to appeal any decision I make in your case. For those of you who are charged with a traffic offense, you should bear in mind that in addition to having to pay a forfeiture if you're found guilty, the Division of Motor Vehicles may impose demerit points against your license. If 12 or more points are assessed against your license in any 12-month period, your driving privileges will be suspended for a period of time. If you hold a probationary license, those points may be doubled. Finally, if your address changes at any time while your case is pending, you must notify the court in writing within 5 days of such a change. I'll call the first case. Javen Smith. Mr. Smith, did I pronounce your name correctly? Javen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you still live on Falling Creek Circle in Janesville?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, you are charged with speeding on a public roadway in the city of Stoughton, 18 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant tonight?
Your Honor, the city's willing to offer, to amend it to 9 miles per hour over. That's 3 points and $98.80 forfeiture.
Mr. Smith, do you understand what that offer means?
Yes,
Then how would you like to plead?
guilty.
Okay, I will accept the city's proposed amendment. And I will find a factual basis for your plea. I will find you guilty of speeding by 9 miles per hour over the posted limit. I will impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.60. Will you need more than 30 days to pay that, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Just hang on a minute. We'll give you a copy of the judgment, and that will also give you information on how you can pay that forfeiture, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And then after that, you're free to go.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, thank you, sir. You too. Stacy Scone? How do you pronounce your name, ma'am? Shuni. Sorry about that. Thank you. Ms. Shuni, is your last name spelled S-C-H-O-O-N-E?
Yes,
And you still live on 8th Street in Stoughton?
yes,
Ms. Shuni, you're charged with 2 counts of retail theft. That means that you took or attempted to take merchandise from a store without attempting to pay for it without the store owner's consent. Do you understand what that means?
you said 2 counts?
Yes, there are 2 citations.
I understand, yes.
You understand what that means?
Mhm.
Okay. You have to answer yes or no, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Mr. Brodkey, do you know if the victim is requesting any restitution in this matter?
Your Honor, I'm scanning right now.
Okay.
Walmart handles their own, they have a restitution department that handles supposedly.
Right.
Yeah, I do see on the citation, there's a restitution request.
They haven't formally requested.
From the court, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't filed a
Sure.
request with the court. Okay. So, Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant tonight?
Your Honor, at this moment, I do not have an offer for the defendant.
So, Ms. Shuni, you've got a couple of options here. If you want to resolve this matter tonight, you could plead guilty or no contest. The city is not willing to offer, by way of a forfeiture recommendation, anything other than the $187 on each of the 2 tickets. You could also enter a plea of not guilty, and I won't hold that against you. But that would then give you some time to call Mr. Brodkey and see if you can come to an agreement as to how the case should be resolved.
Okay,
So
not guilty, please.
you're pleading not guilty? All right. I'll set a pretrial conference for January 8th
Correct. 3:40 p.m.
at 3:40 p.m. and we'll give you written information on when that will be and what number you need to call. You don't have to go to Mr. Brodkey's office.
Okay,
He's up in Madison, so you can just call him on the phone. Is 3:40 a time that works for you?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I just didn't want to interfere with work.
I'll call in, or
Okay.
I'll ask off.
All right, just hang on a second and then you're free to go, okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a good night. LaShonda Ford. Ms. Ford, do you still live on Aberg Avenue in Madison?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
Do you have a new address?
Yes.
Could you give it to us, please?
Right now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. The address is 206 Cottage Grove Road, apartment A as in apple, 116. Madison, Wisconsin, 537. I want to say 16. I just recently moved there.
Okay. All right, we'll make sure that any communication gets to you.
Okay.
Ms. Ford, you are charged with speeding on a public highway by 15 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for Ms. Ford?
Your Honor, the city's going to amend the citation to 9 miles per hour over. That's 3 points and $98.80 forfeiture.
Ms. Ford, how do you wish to plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, that means you're asking for a trial or a chance to talk to Mr. Brodkey further?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure you understood.
Yes.
That's fine. I will accept your not guilty plea, and we will set a pretrial conference date for January 8th. And again, that's a phone conference. You don't have to travel over to Mr. Brodkey's office.
Okay.
And what time are we looking at?
350.
Does 3:50 in the afternoon work for you?
That's perfect. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, well, we'll give that to you in writing, and then you're free to go, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a
Okay.
good evening.
Thank you. You too, ma'am. Naveen Sangha. Did I pronounce your name correctly, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Sangha, do you still live on Linroot Drive in Sun Prairie?
Yes, sir.
And sir, you're charged with inattentive driving, apparently involving an accident. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for Mr. Sangha this evening?
Your Honor, the city doesn't. Based off what I see, I think a pretrial would be appropriate, but
Okay.
that's obviously up to the defendant.
So, sir, you've got a couple of options here tonight. If you plead not guilty, then I'll give you a pretrial conference date of January 8th, so you can talk to Mr. Brodkey over the phone and see if you can resolve this without a trial. You could also plead not guilty and tell me you simply want a trial, or you could plead guilty or no contest. I would find you guilty if you plead guilty or no contest, and in all likelihood, I would impose a forfeiture of $111.40. Do you understand your options?
Yes, sir.
And how would you like to proceed?
Plead guilty.
Pardon?
I would plead guilty.
All right. I'm just going to review the police reports for a second here. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I will accept it and find you guilty. Does the city have anything further it would like to say by way of recommendation?
Your Honor, the city recommends that the forfeiture be reduced to $98.80.
All right. And Mr. Sangha, is there anything you want to tell me about what you think should happen with the case? This is your chance.
I I was actually didn't expect lady ahead of me stopping the vehicle. She was ahead of the stop sign. I stopped at the stop sign, but she left the road. She was about to enter the main road, but she stopped suddenly. I should have been more careful.
Okay.
I would like to know what the estimated points for me, because I wasn't sure I'm on probationary license and the points will be doubled. So
You are on a probationary license?
yes, sir.
Yes,
I
you are.
didn't know I'm on probationary license until the office they spotted
Right.
it out.
As far as I can tell from looking at your driving record, you have no prior offenses. That sound correct to you?
Yes, sir. This is my first.
Okay, if that's the case, and I only can go by what is attached to this citation, then it's a 4-point citation.
So is it going to be doubled for?
It shouldn't be, but the next citation you get, while you're still on a probationary license, the points will double.
By any chance, can I have concession in my points or no points?
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I don't have any choice. If you're convicted of this offense, DMV imposes the points. I don't have any authority to change that.
Okay.
But if you want to have an opportunity to call Mr. Brodkey and see if you can work out perhaps a plea to a different offense with fewer points or something like that, I'm happy to do that. Is that something you'd like to do? Do you want to talk to the city attorney later and see if you can work this out? I'm not going to hold it against you.
No, this should be fine.
You're sure? I'm happy to give you time.
I'll call to Brad later.
I'm sorry?
I'll call to Brad later and
Okay.
I'll-
Well, what I'll do then is I will withdraw my finding of guilt. I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf and schedule this for a pretrial conference on January 8th. And that'll be by telephone
Okay, sir.
4 p.m.
at 4 p.m. Is that a time that works for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. We'll give you that in writing and then you're free to go, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, sir?
No
Okay.
questions.
All right, thank you. City versus Bambi Mitchell. I think she might be out in the hall. Ms. Mitchell, come on up. You're Bambi Nicole Mitchell, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And you still live on Moraine View Drive in Madison?
yes,
You are cited for operating a motor vehicle without insurance. Do you have insurance now?
no,
Okay. Would you have the opportunity anytime in the near future to get driver's insurance, auto insurance?
in the near future, I planned on it, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not able to get insurance on my car now because since the car accident, I lost my job and I have no transportation back and forth to work.
Mm.
So,
When you say you hope to get insurance in the near future, how near are we talking? Couple of months or 6 monts or a year?
a couple
or-
of months.
Okay. Mr. Brodkey, what's the city's position?
Your Honor, I think that if it's fine with the court, I think the city would like to set this for a status in 3 months. to check in to see whether Ms. Mitchell has gotten insurance or what efforts you've made or any circumstances that contribute. So we just kick this kind of down the line
Sure.
a few months.
Do you understand what Mr. Brodkey's proposing?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'll do for tonight is I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. The idea is we want you to get car insurance, because we don't want uninsured drivers driving out on the streets. It's a bad thing for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give you a chance to get a job and then to get insurance as well. So I'll set this out for 90 days. That'll be, do you have 90 days yet?
February 18th.
18th?
February 19th would be the court date.
Okay, so February 19th, I'll call the case again and find out what progress you've made on getting insurance.
Okay.
Usually, and I don't want to speak for the city, but usually what happens when people can get insurance if they've been cited for driving without it, the city usually asks that the citation be dismissed. And that's what I would, in all likelihood, do.
Okay.
On the other hand, if by February 19th, you haven't appeared to make any kind of progress towards getting your insurance, then we'll probably have to start moving the case along. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so,
6 p.m. on February 19th.
okay, so I'll call the case again, 6 p.m., February 19th. So between now and then,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you. Between now and then, you need to contact Mr. Brodkey and let him know what's going on with your insurance, okay?
Okay.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. You have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
The gentleman that can,
M,
you.
oh yeah, okay, here we go. Mr. Mulilikwa? I'm sorry, sir, how do you pronounce your name? Okay. Excuse me. Sir, do you still live on Chicory Way in Sun Prairie?
Yes.
And you are charged with speeding on a public highway by 15 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Your Honor, the city is going to amend it to 9 miles per hour over. That's a 3-point citation and recommends a $98.80 forfeiture.
Sir, do you want to take the city up on their offer? You want to plead not guilty and request a trial?
Yep.
That's fine. I will enter a not guilty plea for you. I will schedule this for a pretrial conference on January 8th, and that'll be by telephone. I will ask you to contact Mr. Brodkey and see if you can still manage to work something out without a trial. If not, that's fine. We'll then schedule the matter for a trial at that point. You'll get notice in the mail of when the trial will be, and I will hear the case.
Okay.
Do you understand all that?
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. Just hang on, we'll give you information on how to call Mr. Brodkey. It's important that you make that call, because if you don't, Mr. Brodkey will assume, and I will assume, that you no longer wish to contest the matter, and I'll, in all likelihood, find you guilty by default and impose a forfeiture. So please be sure to make that call. Even if you still have your mind made up that you want a trial, that's fine. But please just let him know that when you call him, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And I have to call before this date.
On that date and time.
Oh, okay, exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
All set?
Yep, thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. Have a good evening. We're in recess until 6. live? Okay, we'll go back on the record then. This is City versus Olga Harms, and you're Ms. Harms?
Yes,
And Ms. Harms, do you still live on Burr Oak in Oregon?
that's correct.
Okay. You're charged with speeding by 17 miles per hour over the posted limit on a public roadway. Do you understand what that means?
That's correct, sir, yes.
And does the city have an offer for Ms. Harms this evening?
Yes, Your Honor. The city's going to, and for the purposes today, amend it to a defective speedometer, $2.98.80 forfeiture.
Ms. Harms, you've heard the city's offer,
Yes,
and have you had an opportunity off the record to discuss that offer with Mr. Brodkey?
yes,
Do you understand the offer?
yes.
And how would you like to proceed tonight?
I'm not sure.
Well, okay, so the city is offering to amend the citation, which presently is a 4-point speeding ticket, to amend that to operating a motor vehicle with a defective speedometer. That's an equipment violation, and it's a 2-point ticket. And what was the recommended forfeiture? $98.80?
Yep.
And if you were to accept that offer and plead guilty or no contest to that amended citation, so changing the ticket, I, in all likelihood, would impose a forfeiture of $98.80 and give you time to pay that. So do you understand what the city's proposing?
Yes,
And how would you like to proceed tonight?
guilty,
So you're accepting the city's offer?
yes.
Okay. I will amend the citation as proposed by the city. I will find a factual basis for your plea. Does the city have any further comment on disposition?
Your Honor, only that Olga was, if the court would, if it would please the court, Olga was driving because was speeding because her husband had his appendix burst and was
Oh, my.
on the way to the hospital during this. They're pulled over, explain to the officer, and then go on to Stoughton Hospital.
Okay.
So to the extent that that informs anything about the sentencing, that's
Sure.
what I wanted to mention.
And Ms. Harms, is there anything you want to tell me about the case or what you think I should do?
Well, I was really nervous, and I'm not telling you what to do. I understand I did it wrong, and as I'm coming towards the hospital, he was getting more pain, so I was really nervous about it. He was in pain, so
Sure.
I tell their officer just kind of waving him to hurry up, because he was, taking his time, and I was really, really concerned about him.
Sure, I understand. Is everybody okay now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Well, I will impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.80. I think under the circumstances, that's a very reasonable resolution. I can also tell you that based on my experience, an equipment violation conviction probably won't have an adverse effect on your insurance, whereas a speeding ticket probably would.
Right.
So there's that.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No.
I can give you more time if you need it.
No, sir. Well, appreciate that.
Okay. All right, so you've got a copy of the judgment, and that tells you how you can pay. Hang on to that because, sometimes mistakes happen with division of motor vehicles, and that's your proof of what you were actually convicted of. Okay?
Great.
Any
Thank you.
questions?
No, I do appreciate your time and your
Okay,
understanding.
no problem.
Yes.
Are they getting a notice in the mail for the pretrial just?
Oh, yeah, right. We had received a request from you for a pretrial conference, and you'll be getting a notice in the mail from us for that conference. You can ignore that because we've
Okay.
got the case resolved now.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
no problem.
Yes,
Okay, have a good evening.
thank you. Thank you, too.
Goodbye.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you.
When my wife was in labor with our first child, we were in Janesville, and her doctor was in Madison. I was going about 90 on the interstate. Thinking about it. With regard to the 5 o'clock docket, for those defendants who did not appear, I will find them guilty by default. By way of forfeiture, I will impose the amounts that are on the citation. And then with respect to City versus David Myers, the victim, Quick Trip, has informally requested restitution in the amount of $11.43. In addition to the forfeiture for the citation, I will also order the defendant to pay restitution to Quick Trip in the amount of $11.43. Is that all right, Mr. Brodkey?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is Mr. Dyerson, correct? Why don't you come on up to the table there? There's a button you need to push so that the mic gets turned on. There you go. Thank you. All right, City versus Cale Dyerson. There are multiple cases involved. I'm not going to recite all of them. As I understand it, here we go. This is a review on the defendant's failure to pay for quite a number of forfeitures that have been ordered by the court over the last couple of years. My understanding is that these cases were last called on April 17th, 2024. The defendant appeared in person and informed the court that his wages were being garnished by the Department of Revenue pursuant to the city's request that the department pursue collection of these forfeitures for the city. It's further my understanding that the city has not received any of the claimed garnished monies that the defendant told the court about on April 17th. Mr. Brodkey, Do you know anything more about this?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. The bottom line, Mr. Dyerson, is that despite what you told the court back on April 17th, that your wages were being garnished in order to pay off these forfeitures, we haven't gotten any money.
Yeah, they were taking $250, $300 out of my account every month, so I just kind of figured that it was going to you guys.
Well, who else do you owe money?
Couple other counties, which I've been paying them first in order to get my occupational license back.
Well, if
For
you're not
work.
going to get an occupational license while these citations are
And
outstanding.
Yes, I realize that.
Okay. Mr. Brodkey, the total the defendant owes is close to $8,000, $7,665.60. What's the city's position?
Your Honor, I think that, if this has been referred to DOR for collection, and DOR is garnishing wages, I assume that there's some limit for the amount that they can garnish. And it just occurs to me that, and I take Mr. Dearson as word, that if there are other kind of creditors before the city of Stoughton, the city essentially has to wait, provided that the wages continue to be garnished. Unless Mr. Dearson, and I think that this would be the alternative, Mr. Dearson could start paying funds not through wage garnishment, but to the city, and the balance would reduce,
Right.
reflecting that.
Yeah, and I guess I left one part out. Back on August 16th of last year, so 15 months ago, the defendant agreed to a payment plan of $500 per month towards what he then owed, which was about $1,000 less. He continues to get cited for driving without a license, for driving while suspended. So, two things. First of all, if you keep driving, I mean, the police know what your vehicle looks like. They're going to pull you over because they know you don't have a driver's license. You're just digging this hole deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to just stop driving, period.
I
That's all
understand.
there is to it.
Yep, I understand.
Secondly, how are you going to pay these forfeitures off? You owe the city almost $8,000. And over a year ago, you agreed to pay $500 a month, and you didn't pay anything.
I ended up losing that job shortly after that. So what money I had really went to payments for other counties, tickets, or my vehicle payment and insurance so that my parents could drive it if needed. But I do have a steady job now. I can afford at least $250 a month. I don't make too much right now.
How much are you making right now?
I get around 18 an hour, basically $800 checks a week.
So you're taking home about $800 a week?
Yeah.
Okay. You still owe payments on the car?
Yes.
What do you have to pay on your car payments?
I owe $8,000 still for my loan.
Right. But what's your monthly car payment?
$253 a month.
Okay. What's your insurance?
$258 a month.
All right. So other than your car payment and your car insurance payment, what other expenses do you have?
I provide my family with groceries if need be, so relatively $100 every week or so.
So $400 a month, let's say?
Yeah.
Do you pay rent?
No. No, I do not.
Do you have a child support payment or anything like that?
No.
All right. Well, that comes out to about $900 a month in expenses, and you're making $3,200 a month. Are there any other expenses that you're responsible for?
Not exactly, just trying to save up money to pay stuff off, like
Okay.
the city.
All right, well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to order that you pay $250 a month, because you said you can afford that, and it certainly looks to me like you can if you're taking home $3,200 a month, and your expenses amount to $900 a month, it certainly seems like you ought to be able to pay the city of Stoughton $250 directly, okay?
Yep.
That first payment is gonna be due when?
Usually the first of the month, we could say January 1st or December 1st, whichever.
Today's the 20th. If I start these payments on December 1st, is that something you can do?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna order you to pay $250 a month, every month, first of the month, starting on December 1st, so that's less than 2 weeks from now. And I'm going to put this on for a review every month, which means you gotta come here every month. Now, if you make the payments as you have said you're going to do, you don't have to come back to court, I'll just keep an eye on it,
Mm-hmm.
all right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, you gotta stop driving till you have a license, and it's gonna be a long time, it looks like, till you have a license, because, as I said, otherwise you're just gonna dig this hole deeper.
I understand.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
a question? We stopped filing them with the Department of Revenue when he signed the payment plan agreement and have not continued that, so half of his balance is still with the Department of Revenue, the other half is with us only. So how should I handle that in case, because they'll take the money out of his taxes and stuff, I
Right.
don't want that to happen to him, so I don't know.
Can we withdraw our request for collection?
If we withdraw it, we cannot resubmit it,
Yeah,
and that's why
okay,
we held
yeah.
off last time. So I don't know. I can contact them and see if they're willing to put it on hold.
Yeah.
And just leave it there. But I won't add the newer stuff. The way we apply payments, we apply
Mhm.
payments to the oldest citation
Right,
first.
right, okay. So, Mr. Dyerson, apparently, the Department of Revenue still has a request from us to collect on these forfeitures by garnishing your paycheck. You're still responsible for the $250 a month that you said you're going to pay. If you can pay this off before Department of Revenue starts sending us checks, then you're all good. If not, you're going to have to sort out
Yes.
where that money's going,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
All right, any questions?
Just about, do I pay through like coming here in person or?
I can send you some information. You
Okay.
can pay online or here. Or
Okay.
mail a check, whichever
Yep.
works. I'll send that to you with the judgment.
If you send a check, be sure it doesn't bounce.
Duly
Yeah.
noted.
Yeah. Mr. Brodkey, how does all that sound to you?
Your Honor, that all makes sense to me.
Okay. All right, then. Anything else on this one? Okay, you're free to go. Do you have any paperwork?
I'll send it to you all in the mail. Thank you. Can I get your name?
Joel Tyson, T-H-E-I-S-E-N.
Ah, yeah, okay.
And just verify that's his driving extra that he's valid.
Okay.
There are 4 tickets.
Right. So, this is, come on up to the table, sir. This is City versus Joel Thiessen, sorry.
Tyson, actually.
Yeah, Tyson?
Yep. Tyson.
Got it, thank you for correcting me.
No problem.
There are 4 citations for operating while suspended. He has, apparently he was convicted?
He failed to appear.
No, he
all
failed to
3 of
appear.
them And was found guilty.
Okay.
So he's now reinstated his license.
Right, right. He had court dates for these on February 21st, March 20th, and April 17th, 2024. He failed to appear and was convicted by default judgment. He has now asked that the judgments be vacated, reopened and vacated, because he reinstated his driver's license effective September 26, 2024. What's the city's position?
Your Honor, first, I would like to see proof that he has reinstated his driver's license. Do you have that on you?
Yes.
Yeah. And I've also got a driving abstract that says he's reinstated.
Okay, great.
But that's fine.
And then, Your Honor, when I look at this, ordinarily, right, we no objection to the motion to reopen, and likely to dismiss the citation. I guess that the main concern I have here is that, like, what took so long? If it was, if you're going through something like, that's part of this, I guess, to figure that out, because we're looking at like a 7-month gap, and that's the only thing that's sort of sticks out to me.
And I think I can maybe help out with that. I'm looking at a copy of the defendant's driving abstract that shows, a number of convictions for similar offenses, as well as, looks like there was a speeding ticket going back to 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but you had a lot of forfeitures that you had to pay off?
I did, and I guess the problem I have is lack of money, and my license has been able to be reinstated, and I wasn't able to do it, and I haven't been driving for a while, and then recently I was actually working, and I had to drive, and the officers knew me and would see me going during my job and would pull me over, and I didn't want to lose my job, and I'm trying to put an end to this. I want it to go away. My license is good now. I'm on a very limited income.
Sure.
I guess I'm asking for some help if I can get it.
Okay.
I understand maybe on paper it doesn't look the greatest, but I'm not a troublemaker by any means.
Sure. Well, this is what I'm going to do. Based on the city's position, I will vacate the judgments. And is the city moving to dismiss them then?
Yes, Your Honor. The city's moving to dismiss them. I think that in ordinary circumstance, had he come in February or March, we would have done the same thing, to be frank. And if Mr. Tyson, hopefully this is the last time you're before the court.
I hope so too.
But sometimes people come and they say, I'm working toward it. I've got these issues, and we can. The court has been gracious in setting out status hearings and things like that to work toward. I think in this case, he didn't, but he's since complied with essentially the same idea. So the city is fine vacating the judgments.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will dismiss all 4 citations then.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That is appreciated very much.
No, not a problem. So stay valid though, okay?
I will. I don't speed
Oh,
or anything.
yeah,
I guess
can
I
we
got a
get-
speeding ticket once, but I can't remember that. But
Hang on.
Just to verify his address,
Yeah.
I'll send him the notice.
What's your address?
605 Hill Street.
Okay.
Is that correct with your, okay.
Yep, that's what we've got. So we will send you notice of what we did here today. Hang on to that. That's your proof that the tickets were dismissed
Okay.
and the citation, the convictions have been vacated.
I am also in the process of working my best and cleaning my credit up. And I got a letter last week saying that the forfeitures for these tickets were gonna get sent to collections.
Yeah, we're
Will
not doing that
happen?
now.
Okay, okay,
Right.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
I appreciate it very much.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
This one, she's not scheduled to appear. She also read a letter that it was going to collections and realized that she did have insurance. and
Oh,
just didn't handle it
okay.
at the time. I have a note of it
Does,
in case
does
you
Isaac
need
have a
to-
copy of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jean Brogny?
Yeah, no concern from the city on reopening and dismissing.
Okay, so ordered.
Just sign the judgment.
Yep.
That was it.
Oh, wait, we got Hamas yet.
Yeah.
Oh. You said to reschedule that for the 4th.
Yep.
Your Honor, are we gonna call the case anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then City versus James Hamas, multiple citations. This is on for a review of a payment plan the defendant entered into a couple of months ago. We attempted to get him here in person because he missed the last month's payment. Does the city have information to the contrary?
The city has no knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, he made one payment of $1,000 a while back in October and still owes over 10,000. So we're going to set this over to December 4th at 6 o'clock. I will order the defendant to be here in person. Hopefully we can get him served. We couldn't get him served for tonight. And then we'll find out what's up.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay? And I believe that that's it, correct? Okay, we are adjourned.